The House of Representatives will on April 11, 2023 question ministers and other heads of ministries, departments and agencies of the federal government as well as oil companies and banks over the alleged illegal sale of 48 million barrels of crude oil valued at $2.4 billion. The House had a committee to investigate the alleged loss of over $2.4 billion in revenue from illegal sale of 48 million barrels of crude oil export in 2015, including all crude oil exports and sales by Nigeria from 2014 till date, is handling the probe. The committee, in a notice to the invitees on Monday, also demanded memorandum from whistleblowers whose alarm had led to recovery of public funds from corrupt individuals and organizations. The committee invited 100 individuals, organizations and groups, including the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, Group Chief Executive Officer, NNPCL, Federal Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Attorney General of the Federation, Director of Public Prosecution of the Federation, Central Bank of Nigeria, Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, Chief Executive NUPRC, former Chairman, Presidential Committee on Recovery of Missing Crude Oil, former Director General DSS, Lawal Musa Douara, Department of State Services, Nigerian Police Force, Interpol National Central Bureau, Nigeria, among others. Top government officials have also been invited. The chairman of the committee, Mark Gibler, said the panel had not been officially inaugurated as Speaker of the House, Femi Gbajabiamila, was not available to declare the hearing open, adding that the Speaker would now inaugurate the committee on April 11th. The head of Capital Market Interstate Securities, Vincent Oshoma, has said that the removal of the subsidy from petroleum and allied products has been long overdue with negative implications on government and revenue expenditure. Mr. Oshoma was reacting to federal government's planned removal of fuel subsidy while speaking on iBrandTV Business Breakfast program on Tuesday. Mr. Oshoma said the expected savings from the removal can be well spent on more productive activities as the country is subsidizing consumption instead of production.
The issue of removal of subsidy is something that has been delayed for far too long, and it continues to have implication on our budget and also government revenue and government spending. So, as expected, a lot of persons have been clamoring for its removal so that the savings from the removal can be well spent on more productive activities, because currently we are subsidizing consumption when we are supposed to be subsidizing production. So the planned removal, though it was supposed to have been completed last year with the passing of the PI, Petroleum Industry Act, but it was postponed till this year. And so it's expected that it will be removed, and even the president-elect has mentioned the fact that he's going to remove it irrespective of what people think, because of the benefit it's expected to bring on people and the economy. So it's something that, but it has implications, like you mentioned, yes, that it will lead to an increase in the cost of petroleum products, and that will also have impact on inflation. And as they have been priced, as they have been promoted, is the fact that it is good that we remove it. But you have to look at the implication, especially for the common man, for the average Nigerian. Because subsidy is not a bad thing, but what are you subsidizing? Are you subsidizing the less privileged? Are you subsidizing production, or you are subsidizing consumption? So government has to put in place a system whereby those that actually need this subsidy before can take advantage of it. So it not left for the government on the system they want to make. There talks about giving Nigerians 5,000 as a result of the removal. I think that is something that is open to abuse. It can easily be abused, like the subsidy. Subsidy was supposed to be a stopgap, but at the end of the day, we refused to do the impact is, the area that will have major impact on the people is the area of transportation. Because once we remove subsidy and petroleum products now sell at market price, transportation costs will definitely increase. So if you subsidize the public transportation, I don't think it will have much impact on the people. And also look at small businesses, look at ways of subsidizing small businesses. I don't think it will have much impact on them. But the challenge is the absence of records in our system, whereby we don't really have the records of people that are operating because it's largely in the informal sector, in this the transport system and also the small business. We don't have this record. So it will be difficult for us to get the people that actually need the subsidy in this sector. I think that would be a major bottleneck for the people. But the removal of subsidies is something that is good, and a lot of people will welcome it. It's just the impact it will have on the people that people are worried about.
The Minister of Labour and Employment, Chris Ngige, has taken steps to avert the impending nationwide strike of the Nigerian Labour Congress, billed to commence on Wednesday. The Labour Union had threatened to embark on the nationwide industrial action if the cash crunch, fuel scarcity and electricity tariff increase were not addressed. In response to the strike threat by the NLC, Ngige invited the leadership of the NLC and the Central Bank of Nigeria management to a meeting in his office on Monday to resolve their differences. The 10-man delegation of the NLC was led by its president, Joe Ajero, and the General Secretary, Emmanuel Ugboja, while the CBN Governor, Godwin Emefiele, was accompanied by two deputy governors, Kingsley Obiora, which is economic policy, and Ade Oshonobi, organized private sector. Making his opening remarks, Ngige refuted the allegation by the NLC that his ministry did nothing about the matter. He said on receiving the letter from NLC, he forwarded same to the CBN governor before traveling out of the country for an International Labour Organization Governing Board meeting, and directed the Permanent Secretary and Trade Union Services and Industrial Relations Department to follow it up. On his own part, Emefiele said when he received the letter from the Labour Ministry, he called the president of the NLC to brief him on steps taken to alleviate the sufferings of the masses. He said he went further to have a meeting with NLC president, which he said resulted in a large volume of funds made available to the deposit money banks. Ajero urged the CBN to improve on their services, regretting the information gap created in the implementation of the Naira redesign. Banks' credits to the government rose by 3.77 trillion naira in the first 2 months of 2023. Figures obtained from the Central Bank of Nigeria reveal that the total government credit, which ended December 2022 at 24.66 trillion naira, rose to 28.4 trillion naira as of the end of February 2023. The CBN disclosed in its Money and Credit Statistic Report that the credit rose from 14.9 trillion naira as of the end of January 2022 to 26.65 trillion naira in the corresponding period of 2023. According to a statement released by the CBN, a member of the Monetary Policy Committee, Aliyu Sanusi, said at the January meeting that tightening of the rates was needed to moderate the effects of election-related spending and the liquidity associated with the proposed government borrowing in 2023. He also said that the key drivers of the NDA was net claims on government, which grew by 78.15% in December 2022, which in turn was driven by the FGN's borrowing from the central bank, which is 93.21%, commercial banks 44.26%, and non-interest bank 79.13%. He said this suggests that monetary and fiscal factors have continued to play an important role in the current inflationary processes. The Security and Exchange Commission has warned young Nigerians to avoid Ponzi schemes and only invest in entities registered with the regulatory body. The Commission gave the advice as it marked the Global Money Week at the School for the Gifted, Gwangwelada in Abuja. The Director of Market Development Department of the SEC, Mr. Nestor Ekiago, said this year's GMW scheme, Plan Your Money, Plant Your Future, focus on stability and raising awareness in the implications of individual financial behavior, not only on one's financial future, but also on the environment and the society. It said the Global Money Week is an annual global awareness raising campaign on the importance of ensuring that young people from an early age are financially aware and gradually acquiring the knowledge, skills, attitude, and behaviors necessary to make sound financial decisions and ultimately achieve financial well-being and financial resilience.